Welcome to the very first episode of Undisclosed Trauma web show and podcast, where we talk about mental health, mental illness, trauma, and the solutions. Yep, and how do you heal? That's the focus of Undisclosed Trauma. I'm Toy Thornton. Well, I was inspired to do this because of the story of a young man who committed suicide. His death note, he left it on Instagram, and by the time his family found out, unfortunately, it was too late. His name is Tyrique Fisher. I dedicate this episode to him, entitled Thugging It Out. I want to warn you, what you're about to hear next is going to be difficult to hear. It's the call where his mother found out he was dead.
Yes?
For the Gwinnett County Medical Examiner's Office.
Medical examiner, is my son dead?
Are you alone?
Yes, yes. No, my husband says my son dead.
Can you pull over if you're driving?
Babes, pull over right now, babes. Pull over, just pull over. Pull over right now. Pull over. Pull over. She said medical examiners, babe. She said medical examiners. Is my son dead?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Ah!
The sentiments of a mother's heart, a mother's love and her pain, amassed in the most dreadful way. Listening just gives you chill bumps.
Is my son dead?
Can you pull over if you're driving?
It was August 19th, 2021, a day no mother, no father, no loved one could ever imagine experiencing. This mother, Janet Fisher, losing her son, Tyrique.
I would take his place in a minute.
He was Tyrique Fisher, a 22-year-old college student who was just hurting. Tyrique posted his death note to Instagram. He titled the post, "My Last Post." The post began by saying, quote, "If you're reading this, it means I'm no longer here. I understand the shock you may feel, and I am so sorry." He then expressed the pain he'd been feeling and trauma he's masked throughout his life. The portion that stuck with me is where he says, quote, "I tried thugging out my struggles for years, but I am not as strong as I thought," end quote. Thugging it out. So relatable. Well, following this post, Tyrique went to a gun range and took his own life, shattering the hearts of his loved ones and thousands of others.
Just tell him again.
But his mother, 7 months later, still grieving, is on the other side of this, working to ensure that his death is not in vain, that others are inspired, influenced positively, and ultimately saved through his story. Well, right now, the mother of Tyrique Fisher, Janet Fisher, joins us over Zoom. Thank you so much, Ms. Fisher, for being here with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Well, it's been about 7 months, unfortunately, since we lost Tyrique. I know this is probably one of the hardest things you've ever been through in your life. How are you doing right now?
I'm taking things day by day.
I want to get the true essence of who this young man is, who he was, what the legacy is that he leaves behind. So tell us, who is Tyrique Fisher? What should we know about him?
First, he was a college student. During the pandemic, he was sent home to, do online studies, being that they were sending all the kids home. But he was a great guy. All his friends, they loved him. He gave them, advice. He was like, as I would describe him as a rock to everyone. Mm-hmm. You could always go to him and depend on him for, a kind word or, a listening ear. I mean, he was just a really great guy.
Yeah, I know in one of your posts I saw that you, of course, raised him as a single mom. How was that experience for you?
at first it seemed like it was hard, but he made it very easy. He became like a very helpful son. He got a job to, help me as far as the bills were concerned. And, if I dated, he was that person who would let me know if this was the right person, if he thought it was the right person. He was just like everything to me. He was my son. I loved him, but he was also a great friend.
Yeah, yeah. What college did he actually go to that you mentioned?
He was attending Santa Fe College
Santa Fe College.
in Florida.
Well, with however much you're comfortable with telling us about Janet, what do you know about what happened on that day? As I mentioned, it's been 7 months since that happened. What do you actually know about what happened? Of course, we saw the Instagram post before. Is that how you found out about it?
Well, sort of. I mean, that morning, it was a regular morning. I was leaving out to go to work. I looked in on him and he was in bed. So I thought everything was normal. So I went to work. During my work day, I got a call from my brother who advised me of that post. So I believe at the time that he posted that, of course, he was still alive. Um, So I called the police and asked them to help me look for my son because he put this post on social media. And I called all his friends and family, and my mother. She's a spiritual leader, and I just called everybody that I could, and I didn't know where else to go from there.
Yeah, and of course, we heard the audio recording of your call with the medical examiner. Really, really hard to listen to, but really powerful, actually, even that you share that, Janet, and just that we feel both your love for Tyrique and the pain that you were dealing with at that time. Where were you when you made that call and found out?
Um, how I actually found out was one of Tyrique's friends, his really good friend, Selena. He had an iPhone, and it was attached to our family plan, and it was pinging at a gun range. And I asked Selena, could she please go to that gun range and just to see if he was there. And when Selena arrived to the gun range, everyone was taken out. There was police cars, there was ambulance, and she stayed there and watched. She didn't know what was going on, but she saw them pulling out a body bag. We don't know. She didn't know at the time that it was him, but she told me what she saw. And at that time, I felt the disconnection. It was several minutes after that the police called me, and they wouldn't tell me over the phone. They just asked me where I was, which I was still at work. So they asked me, okay, they're coming to see me. They have to talk to me. And I was like, well, can you tell me what you're going to talk about, what we're going to talk about? And they really couldn't. When they arrived to my workplace and they told me I lost my footing, they said that your son was at the gun range and that he took his life. And they gave me items that he had, personal items that they thought I might want, like his earrings that he had on that day, and his driver's license, which was only gotten 2 days before the incident. So which told me that he knew in advance that he was going to do this.
Janet, you said just now something stuck out to me is that you felt the disconnection. Did you feel spiritually disconnected?
Yes, I at that point knew that he was no longer, spiritually and physically on this earth.
Wow.
At that time, even without seeing the body first.
Wow, that is powerful. Wow. Of course, as we mentioned about the Instagram post that Tyrique made, he wrote about in the post some battles he struggled with and thugging it out. And you know, I felt that post because I think a lot of us have just gone through battles, and we continue to go through it, and we just quote unquote thug it out. And thugging it out just simply means, you know, dealing with it and going through it without really getting the help that we needed. Did you know about his struggles with his mental illness?
3 months prior to this, to this incident happening, he made a similar post, but not as in depth. And it was also on Instagram. But one of his friends from college, who was also a psychologist, called 911, and she called, and they were able to find him. And at that time, and they Baker acted him. This was just a few months before he actually did this. He was in the facility for a week, and was sent home to follow up with, a permanent solution. And he did what he had to do just to, I guess, get pressure or eyes off of him. So that was the first time I knew that he was struggling. I mean, we all have struggles, myself as well. A lot of tragic things happen, but I'm thinking about it as it's something that we can work out, not this is something that is going to end his life.
And what do you say to people who have, I guess, made the decision that they're just going to sort of thug it out or just deal with what their situation is?
I want to tell you that since this incident, and I am not a psychiatrist or a professional in counseling, but I have been overwhelmed with calls, and especially during the pandemic, with people who want to end their life and with people who are thugging it out. And I, no matter what I'm doing, I'm there to be the listening ear and trying to point them in the right direction. And I let them see and hear my pain, because there's people in their lives who will be me, who will have to deal with the aftermath of something so terrible. So, that's why I'm starting this foundation. And, I've spoken to some counselors and psychiatrists who are willing to help me to, as on the professional side, to help some of these people and point them in the right direction or give them the help they need. I've also been doing studies now about suicide and taking your life and the signs and things like that, because it is a mental illness, and as we as a community have to get before it and to prevent it to happen from anyone in the community. This is something that should not be happening.
Yeah, wow. Well, Janet, as you mentioned, the community, this kind of relates to it. Tyrique is very special to me. I actually found his story just via Instagram. A friend, I think, had knew him or knew of him, and just showed me a post, that post, of course. And so I made a post on my Facebook page, Toy Thornton WBRC, here about him, about, of course, his post that he'd made on Instagram, and I put some resources under it for people who may be dealing with the same thing, maybe struggling. I did not expect it to do much. I just wanted to encourage some people who were feeling, similar feelings. But there was such an overwhelming response, Janet. His story just inspired so many other people in the comments to just speak out about their trauma, as well as parents and loved ones who have actually lost people and have been in your position. And the post got more than 1,000 reactions, nearly 280 comments, and more than 300 shares. What does this mean to hear, to hear of this kind of reach?
Well, also from your Facebook page and his Instagram page, there were so many comments,
Oh, yeah.
so many
Much more.
people who, much more. It's just overwhelming. And for me, although I'm sad that my son is not here, I feel like his death is going to save many lives
Yeah.
and open up awareness to, news stations like yourself, or just, take it to another level, as far as helping the community, and not only, because some people can afford to, see a psychologist, psychiatrist, and things like that. But there's income brackets where they can afford that. They don't have the medical insurance,
Yeah.
so that to provide resources for these people as well. And I just pray and that this will continue, that it'll be ongoing, that his name will, just continue to ring in people's ear as something positive to save, their lives. His friend Selena told me that she at one time was feeling like that, and he talked her out
Wow.
of doing it.
Wow.
And this was, so she was in a conversation with me, and she started crying that she said she's the one who's not supposed to be here,
Oh,
but he saved her life.
wow. What a legacy. He leaves a legacy behind for sure. And you're carrying it on, Janet. How can people learn more about the work that you're doing? How can people reach you if they want to be a part and to help you in this work?
I have provided you a web page that I created to start the foundation. It's called Tears, and I'm hoping, and that will be, a site where people can go and find information, and if they want to be a part of the foundation, if they want to join the foundation, if they want to lend services, whatever anyone can do to just help the community at large to avoid this from happening to other people.
All right. Well, Janet Fisher, you're an amazing woman. So much love in your heart. Anything else you want
Thank
to
you.
say before we end this?
I just want to say that, anyone who is thinking of doing this, that your life matters, that God loves you, and always speak to someone before you do something like this. You don't put it on social media. Just talk to someone and just let them know what you're feeling, because 9 times out of 10 that we can resolve whatever it is you're feeling. We can work on it.
All right, Janet Fisher, like I said, amazing woman. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
If you or someone you know are struggling with suicidal thoughts or depression, you are not alone. There is help out there. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Line. The number is listed on the screen. You can also text the crisis text line. Text HELLO to 741-741. For veterans, there is also a number listed on the screen with free resources as well. And by the way, this is all free and available 24/7. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Undisclosed Trauma. And if you liked it, please subscribe and spread the word as we continue to break away from the news set to talk to the newsmakers and people impacting our world. You can always download these from iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. And we'd like you to rate and review the show. That helps us with feedback. You can also email me at toy.thornton@wbrc.com. Thank you for listening and have a great day.